That's just something you don't see every day. I know the tensions.
Startling incidents include Gobert and Anderson fighting verbally from across the team huddle before Gobert punches Anderson in the upper chest. Anderson wanted to lash out in a violent rage, but his response was restrained as they both were separated. During the halftime break versus Everton, Hugo Lloris and Son got into an altercation. Following the halftime whistle, Hugo and Sonny got into an incident on the field as they made their way to the tunnel. It seemed like Hugo was unhappy over something Sonny had said done shortly before the break.
Make the run! 1 minute to go! 1 minute to go! We need to go to the ball! Make the run!
Shoving one another. It's like, this happens throughout the course of a season.
In the second quarter, there was a physical fight between Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis on the bench. When Howard was asked about the altercation, he said apparently nothing more than differing opinions on what Davis referred to as a pick-and-roll scheme. Howard remarked, "We were upset about a play. We got into a fight together."
Yes, Anthony Davis goes over and is saying something to Dwight, and I don't know what happens from there. They end up shoving one another. It's like, this happens throughout the course of a season. It happens in practice. Unfortunately, it happens here where everybody can see it, but it happens all the time in practices for every team. Still settle it down.
Mohamed Aouas qui n'est pas sur la feuille de match aujourd'hui et Bismarck Duplessis. C'est une image un petit peu curieuse, un petit peu bizarre.
A brawl during the pre-game warm-up between Mohamed Hawass and teammate Bismarck Duplessis. Both of Montpellier's front-row players appeared enraged as they exchanged multiple blows before being hauled apart by their teammates.
In center field, and you can't blame Longoria for that.
Listen, I would rather see teammates get on teammates for talking.
Longoria was upset with how Upton pursued a drive by Rusty Ryle that resulted in a triple in the fifth inning, just ahead of Parra's home run. Willie Abar separated the teammates by putting his arms around Upton as several players moved in between the two.
And you can't blame Longoria for that.
Listen, I would rather see teammates get on teammates for talking about what you and I just talked about, because it looked like BJ was jogging after that ball in the gap. And that's what Longo, I'm sure, addressed.
Sadio Mane gets angry during touchline bust-up with Mohamed Salah after Mohamed Salah failed to square the ball to teammate Sadio Mane, who later played the ball out when Mane could have scored a tap-in during the Premier League victory at Burnley. He went on a furious touchline tirade, seemingly filled with rage.
That's not what this difficulty is about. And this is why Mane's absolutely lost it, because he's going to slightly in, slightly weak, and tries to give him one back because he ignores him. This is a 3-0. This weirdly enough is a part of how I actually quite like, because the 3-0, he's been brought up and he doesn't feel like he should be brought up. But this is the desire. He's going to pull forward to have to score goals.
You gotta be kidding me. And then Papelbon went right after Harper.
The Nationals reached a low point on Sunday afternoon that made it clear how toxic and awful the season had been at the moment. But when Harper turned to face the dugout, Papelbon launched into an argument with him. He then slammed Harper against the wall of the dugout and attempted to choke him. The two pushed one another for a short while until teammates intervened to break up the altercation.
You gotta be kidding me. And then Papelbon went right after Harper. It's getting ugly, folks. There's no other way to put it. That stuff happens throughout the course of the season, but
with Bryce Harper evidently nose-to-nose with Jonathan Papelbon.
that's not good. I mean, you could read his lips. He told him, you got to run that ball out. And Bryce Harper said, are you kidding me? Unbelievable.
For Naves. He gets a cross in and De Jong is there!
Bruno Fernandes clashed with Victor Lindelof after the defender cost Manchester United in their Europa League semi-final against Sevilla. Fernandes raged at the center-back because his error, which led to Luuk de Jong scoring the winning goal for Sevilla, with the Swede firing back at the midfielder in a heated exchange.
James breaks the run.
Look at Luuk de Jong, middle of your picture. Wan-Bissaka's got him there.
Nolan Arenado, he is frustrated. This team is frustrated. We talked with Nolan before the game today, and he said this team is...
After the Padres home run, Nolan Arenado of the Rockies became angry with teammates in the bench after a Matt Kemp home run gave the San Diego Padres an early 3-0 lead in an eventual loss. Colorado Rockies third baseman Nolan Arenado became enraged with teammates, including catcher Nick Hundley on Friday night.
This team is underachieving. They need to start performing. You can tell he's yelling right there at Nick Hundley. I'm not sure if he's specifically directing his message towards Chris Russin and the error that happened, but his bottom line is this team has to step up and perform. They have to do that right now on
Kessel and Booth, two forwards of the team, engage in shoving during practice. A few of their teammates had to intervene to break up the dispute between the two players during their morning skate.
James Haskell at the moment is in a rather less than pleasant clinch.
James Haskell and Joe Marler had altercation on the field. The English prop's jest backfired, bringing the teammates of England to blows. According to reports, Marler sprayed the Wasps' flanker with water as he passed, causing the rugby player to become agitated.
The referee's going to have to take control here. This is going to be an interesting listen.
Two very experienced players who are going to get a bit of a telling off.
He sprayed water in my face. Review it again. He sprayed water in my face and I reacted. And he choked me with the scrum cap. It's not allowed. You're going to the come on.
Joe Marler and James Haskell about to embrace. They'll be up against it on the pitch, you know, when they're playing for their clubs. A little bit of niggle, a yellow card for James Haskell, but still friends at the end.
So Cole Palmer at this point is on the deck. So then it becomes a bit of a wrestle initially between Noni Madueke and Nicholas Jackson. Gusto, I think, finds it quiet.
Madueke repeatedly shrugged off Jackson before Palmer finally showed up and got the ball. Visibly enraged, Jackson attempted to take the ball from his colleague. Even though Madueke didn't first appear happy, he eventually accepted the handover after Conor Gallagher intervened. Jackson, however, remained angry and persisted in arguing that he should accept the kick.
Gets up off the floor. And then you see Conor Gallagher as captain say, right, Cole Palmer's on penalties. He's scored 8 out of 8, incidentally, this season, and Noni Madueke's been successful as well. I don't understand why Jackson then goes and gets involved again.
I mean,
Delhi.
This is for me. This is them showing their age. I think, you know, I'm not there at the training ground every day nowadays.
ワウンドで終わってるのにという思いがあるでしょう。その伊藤光に対して投げる。取ったバウアー自ら一塁。
After their team failed to record an out in the 6th inning of a baseball game, Trevor Bauer was angry with his teammates. The Dragons hitter launched a comebacker at Bauer with the next batter on a 1-1 count, but Bauer gloved the ball cleanly, as a pitcher would normally toss the ball to his first baseman. But instead, Bauer ran to first base and motioned for the fielder to move away from the bag as he tagged it for the out. He turned back when he got closer to the dugout and yelled to his buddies, "Wake up!"
James gets very upset with Chalmers right here and gets in his face.
During the third quarter, LeBron James got angry and lunged at teammate Mario Chalmers during a timeout. He was held back by Udonis Haslem. Just before he lost it, Chalmers seemed to be ranting at LeBron about something.
Yes, Chalmers has always been kind of the little brother that they yell at. But you can see the frustration, and Doug, as you said, what this...
stands prior to the game, and this was a very difficult scene for a lot of fans.
Just a few minutes before the tournament host Hawaii and Utah's consolation game at the Stan Sheriff Center got underway, sophomore Sydney and junior Elgin Bailey got into a fight. The brawl, which continued for many minutes before being broken up by colleagues, involved punches.
In the stands, they had to be separated. Punches were thrown.
And remember, this is a day removed from Renardo Sidney being suspended from the team, missing.
The game struck teammate Jerian Henry with a punch. The two of them squared off following the first strike to Henry's face. Before the two were split off, Henry, wearing the number 7, appeared to take another punch from the game. Bowyer got into an altercation with a teammate on the field. After an innocuous incident in a Premier League match at St. James's Park against Villa, he and teammate Newcastle midfielder Kieran Dyer exchanged punches because Bowyer thought his partner had refused to give the ball to him. They were both dismissed from the game as a result of this.
Jakob, det där hände ju precis bakom ryggen på oss.
Bala seemed to headbutt his fellow Frenchman after they had both completed the 1500 meters, starting a brawl that was only broken up by the intervention of officials. The French Athletics Federation suspended them both after the blowout incident.
De slåss efter loppet. Vi ser att det är Mehdi Bala. En skalle därifrån Mekisi Benabad och så är det Mehdi Bala som...
In a Galatasaray vs Giresunspor game, Marcon headed straight for Aktör Koglu in the 61st minute to headbutt him, concluding the incident with multiple attempted punches before being dragged away by Galatasaray teammates. He was sent off the game because of his attack on his teammate. Ben Chiaro and Lucas Raymond looked to become tangled up in front of the net as a fight broke out between them, but teammates intervened quickly to break it up. During a game between the Golden State Warriors and Los Clippers, when Green missed a jumper with the game knotted at 106-106 in regulation, the Clippers game went into overtime. After Durant yelled at Green from the sidelines, Green let loose with a tirade against his teammate Durant.
Warriors finish at a 19-5 run. The Clippers did not score in the final 5:15. The Warriors scored the last 11 points. They didn't take a shot at the end of regulation, which is a little frustrating.
Draymond was trying to get it to somebody, and he got tangled up there. A lot of defenders. They were down 8 with 3:32 to go. They were down 5 with 2:51 to go. And Klay Thompson came through in the clutch here.
So now you've done this work, and did it defensively in the 11-0. And now can you go
dei matti, ragazzi, siamo dei matti. Se vogliamo giocarci lo scudetto, non possiamo giocare così.
During a Serie A match between Juventus and Benevento, after a dull first 45 minutes of play in the locker room, an angry Bonucci targets his colleagues in the dressing room. Even Cristiano Ronaldo, who plays for the team, was almost speechless throughout his speech. He just said, "He's right." Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more exciting sports content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below.
Non è vero un cazzo! Assumiamoci le responsabilità e le colpe di una partita di merda che stiamo facendo! Questa è la verità, questa è la verità.